Yo, yo, yo! I am back once again to be doing another beginner's guide to Honkai Impact 3rd. And I'm sure by now you've read the title of the video, so you know we're going to be talking about Valkyries. What are they? How do you upgrade them? How do you get them? And yeah, let's get into what they are initially. Valkyries are usually, I think, exclusively women. I don't think it's possible for men to be Valkyries in the lore. I don't know, but all the playable ones in here are women. And what they are people who use Honkai Energy to fight Honkai Energy. The best way I could describe it in a relatively simple terms is if you've seen the show Fire Force and how the characters there use fire to fight fire, it's that, but replace the word fire with Honkai Energy. What exactly Honkai Energy is, that's a whole other video for itself, potentially taking well over an hour to really fully explain what it is. But today I'll be talking about what you see on screen right now and how to interpret everything you're looking at. Everything. So, let's get started. Now, if you're like me, when I first started, I was looking through the list and I was wondering, oh my goodness, why does everyone look the same? Like, I was like, all these people look like the same person. And it turns out, to eventually realized that they are all the same person. So if we click on a unit like this, you'll see that up here it says Murata Himiko. That is, this character's name is Himiko. And everyone who looks like her is, in fact, Himiko. But the name directly beneath that is the battle suit. And the battle suit is what determines their skills and their stats. So for instance, while all three of these are Himiko, they all play very differently. For instance, this is an ice one. This Valkyrie is ice, this one is fire, and this one is physical. So that is an important thing to remember. It took me a while to figure that out because I am in fact stupid. So up next, we've covered the name and the battle suit name. Up next we have, do you see here where it says biologic? So that is one of the different types of Valkyries. There are currently 5 types. You have, we go here, biologic, psychic, mecha, quantum, and IMG stands for imaginary. And all of these, and there's going to be a 6th one added soon called Stardust, which I don't know too much about that one yet, but those 5 they form like multiple different type triangles. So for instance, we go here. If you're using actually let's change how I'm phrasing that. If you're fighting a biologic enemy, mech units will do more damage, and psychic Valkyries will take more damage. And it kind of goes for all of them. Psychic enemies take more damage from bio, and take less from mechs. So I'm just gonna start that over for a second. Psychic beats mech, mech beats bio, bio beats psychic. So they form a little triangle, and quantum and imaginary function a little bit differently, where quantum beats quantum and is resisted by and resists imaginary, and imaginary beats imaginary and is resisted and resists quantum. So and I have no idea where Stardust is going to fit into this. So that is how this little square right here works. And you can click on there to sort of get a rundown of their abilities, see what other Valkyries they synergize with, as well as seeing recommended equipments. So as a new player, this can be very useful for learning what to build on each unit. And beneath that, we have this tab right here. You can click on this, and this will bring up their stats. This is where you level them up. and upgrade them. You can also get you can also click that to get access to the synergy tab we were at before. And down here is where you see sort of all the traits, sort of, you can say, of the character. So for instance, right now it's just showing a bunch of different icons without really explaining what those are. But if we click one of them, we can get descriptions of what they are. So for instance, this sword right here symbol means physical. This little explosion means heavy attack. This little hourglass means time mastery. The little circle thing means stun. And the little plus means heal. So it means this is a heavy attacker who has a time slow ability and is capable of outputting healing. That does physical damage and is heavy attacks. So that is like sort of her synergy. So what you can do when you're building teams, you can see, okay, this character has time mastery. And then if you have another unit who synergizes with time mastery units, or units who trigger time fracture, you put them together. So that is this left-hand side of the menu right here. And over here you have your weapons. So this is where you select which weapon you want to equip, and you equip it. I will do a separate video on weapons, how to get them, how to upgrade them, all that stuff in a future video. That will probably be the next one. And there's also Stigmata. I will explain Stigmata in a future video, but functionally they are artifacts or relics depending on whether you play Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. That is the most bare bones explanation, but it gets a bit more complicated than that. But for now, just remember, they are your relics or stigmata. And up next, finally, we get to the skills. The skills are a bit more complicated than the trace system from Star Rail. You have all these different skill trees, not really trees, they're more tabs, and each of them has different functionally traces from Star Rail. For instance, this one is all like, it's my charge attack, it's my special attack, and then different abilities that are associated with the main one. So eventually, as you level them up and rank them up, you'll go through and just gradually unlock and upgrade these, spending gold and other resources. So it's a good idea for Valkyries you're using frequently to keep those up to date as much as you can with the resources you have. So we've now explained all of these tabs. It's time to explain what the Valkyries can even do. I'm going to use Night Moonbeam as an example because she is a unit that I am very familiar with, and she's very simple, so she's easy to work with for explanations. So I'm just going to hop into a fight really quick, or just something, as a way to just explain kind of what's going on. Let's just go here. Let me just get this set up. So, Night Moonbeam. Where is she at? There she is. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind as well is that every Valkyrie has a leader bonus. If they are placed in the far left-hand section slot in a party, down here you will get a leader bonus. So for instance, Night Moonbeams is team gains 30% critical damage, teams with 3 bio characters, that's the biologic type, gain 20% total damage multiplier. So that is pretty nice. But I need to just swap her in really quick. So let's just hop into the battle, and I'll sort of explain how most Valkyries work in battle. So, just pause for a second. So in battle, you have your basic attack. I'll demonstrate that really quick for Night Moonbeam. you just tap the attack button and the attacks happen. So this right here is what you call a time fracture. Every Valkyrie has an evasion ability. Some of them are triggered by dodging through an enemy. Some of them are triggered by dodging an enemy attack. But Night Moonbeam's evasion ability is just triggered by evading. And you can see in the bottom right hand corner down here that there's a blue circle closing around where it says A. When that circle is fully closed, it means the ability's off cooldown and I can press A to use my evasion and trigger the time fracture. So up next we're going to talk about charge attacks. Charge attacks are charge attacks, special attacks, combo attacks. They all are functionally the same thing that have a different name depending on the condition that needs to be met to do them. Some of them require a resource to be used. Some of them require to be can just be used at any points, but go on cooldown. And some of them can only be done at certain points within the basic attack combo. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate that for Night Moonbeam. So as I showed before, this is what the tapping the attack button does. But if I hold down the attack button after the third attack of the sequence, 1, 2, 3, I now spin like a Beyblade. And I believe I can, if I continue to mash the attack button while spinning, I will spin for longer. So that is sort of like how a charge attack works. You meet a certain condition to be able to hold the attack button to perform a slightly stronger attack. And up next, we're going to talk about QTE, or Quick Time Entrance, I believe it stands for. That is for when a certain Valkyrie is off the battlefield. If a condition is met by the current Valkyrie on the battlefield, the one off will be able to come in and do something special. They'll have like a special attack. Let us try to demonstrate that for Night Moonbeam. Oh. Okay. So Night Moonbeam's requirement is that the enemy be knocked airborne. And she swapped in and performed a big AoE attack. And that is what her QTE works like. But there are many other different triggers besides just having an enemy be knocked in the air. Some require time fracture to be triggered, like we saw, like time fracture like this. Or some require an ultimate to be used, a weapon skill to be used, or purge anything you can think of gameplay related. There's probably a Valkyrie whose QTE is triggered by doing that. And finally, for this video, I want to talk about ultimates. So if you look right here after I unpause, you'll see an ability that has a SP with a number below it, and that shows how much SP or skill points I need to use it. And if you look down here, you'll see a yellow bar with a number, and that shows how much SP I currently have and what my maximum I can hold is. For right now, I have 141 out of 222, and my ult costs 100. So let's just show what the ult looks like. You just press the ult button, and it happens. Yeah, that is a basic understanding of how what Valkyries are, what they do, and sort of a basic rundown of the basic controls of the game. But keep in mind, every Valkyrie works a little bit differently, so make sure you read make sure you read what the unit you're trying to use does, so that way you can understand its interactions and how it synergizes with other units. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and until later, adios.